When you think about 2025, what kinds of viruses do you think could be the worst for humans? Yes, you've come to the correct video. This list contains all of the most deadly viruses that are currently under surveillance. Some of these viruses could spread like wildfire, while others could halt globalization in its tracks. Keep watching because believe us, there's a surprise in store for you if you think you've got it figured out. Let's get started immediately. Number 10. Polio Virus. Once upon a time, the polio virus was a leading cause of paralysis and death due to polio. Despite decades of immunization attempts, polio continues to be a hazardous virus in many regions of the world by 2025. Even while polio infections have dropped significantly worldwide, some regions, like sections of Nigeria, Pakistan, and Afghanistan, still have low vaccination rates. Contaminated food and drink, as well as intimate personal contact between infected individuals, are the main vectors for the virus's dissemination. Because HPV is so easy to spread in populations that have not had the vaccine, it will be very difficult to eradicate entirely. The capacity of polio to induce paralysis in a few hours is what makes it so hazardous. When the virus infects the neurological system, it can cause permanent harm. While the majority of polio patients show little to no symptoms, around 1 in 200 cases cause permanent paralysis, usually affecting the legs, but occasionally the respiratory muscles as well. Polio causes respiratory collapse, which can be lethal in extreme circumstances. Paralysis caused by polio can last throughout a person's life, resulting in substantial impairment and ongoing health issues. When it comes to eliminating polio, the globe is still at a crossroads in 2025. The virus continues to threaten populations that have not been vaccinated, even if immunization efforts are reducing the number of new cases. Although efforts to completely eradicate the disease are ongoing, polio poses a serious threat to public health, wherever it is found. As the world strives for a future without polio, it is crucial to prioritize vaccination and keep an eye out for any signs of the virus's return in regions where it is still present. Number 9. Nipah Virus. The fatal zoonotic virus known as Nipah arose in Malaysia in 1998 and has since spread throughout Southeast Asia, with the most recent outbreaks occurring in Bangladesh and India. Fruit bats are the primary vectors for the Nipah virus, but humans can also contract the disease from pigs or other pig-infected animals or from tainted food. The virus is particularly deadly in heavily populated regions because it can transmit from person to person. Its enormous mortality rate, anywhere from 40 to 75%, is what makes the Nipah virus so dangerous. People who are infected may go into a coma or pass away after experiencing severe respiratory symptoms, inflammation of the brain, encephalitis, or both. At this time, neither a vaccination nor a targeted antiviral treatment exists to ward against Nipah virus. When epidemics do develop, health officials have a hard time containing them because of this. Because of its high fatality rate, severe symptoms, and capacity to spread from person to person and from animals to humans, this virus poses a serious threat to public health around the world. Outbreaks can spread rapidly before being noticed, which is made even more dangerous by the lack of effective treatments or vaccines. Therefore, in regions where humans and animals coexist, Nipah virus continues to be one of the most terrifying new diseases. There is a rising danger of zoonotic illnesses, such as Nipa Virus, which can infect both people and other animals. Nipah virus is a big worry for health officials all over the globe because of the increasing global connectivity and urbanization, which raises the possibility of these infections spreading globally. Number 8. Lassa Fever. The rodents of West Africa are the vectors of the Lassa Fever virus. Contaminated food with surfaces can be reached through the urine and feces of infected rodents. Direct contact with infected animals or their secretions can cause infection in humans. Some patients with Lassa fever experience life-threatening complications such as internal hemorrhage or organ failure, while others experience just moderate symptoms. Once an outbreak starts, the virus is difficult to contain because of its high fatality rate in comparison to other viral infections and the difficulty in detecting it early on. Number 7. Marburg Virus. In addition to Ebola, the Marburg virus is a devastating disease. Although outbreaks are uncommon, they have happened in Africa, where the death toll has reached 90%. Its symptoms are comparable to Ebola's, including fever, vomiting, and organ failure, and it spreads by contact with bodily fluids. Because there are currently no effective therapies for Marburg and no vaccines that are widely available, the disease can easily spread and kill a lot of people. Because of the increased likelihood of worldwide outbreaks due to modern travel, health professionals are constantly on high alert over the virus's propensity to spread worldwide. Number 6. Hepatitis B. The Hepatitis B virus is still a major problem in the world today, impacting countless of individuals all over the globe. Liver diseases such as cirrhosis and cancer can develop when the virus infects the liver. The virus spreads from person to person through sexual contact or by direct contact with contaminated blood or other bodily fluids. Even though there is a vaccine that can protect against the virus, many individuals still don't realize they have it, which can cause long-term health problems. Hepatitis B is still a very hazardous infection, even if there are better ways to cure it. This is particularly true in places where healthcare is scarce. Number 5. HIV and AIDS. Despite advances in medicine and the availability of efficient therapies, HIV and AIDS continues to rank among the most hazardous infections in 2025. Human immunodeficiency virus, or HIV, attacks CD4 cells, an essential part of the immune system that helps the body fight off diseases. This lowers the immune system overall. Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, or AIDS, develops from HIV if the virus is not treated. In this state, the immune system is severely compromised, leaving the body susceptible to opportunistic infections and malignancies. Having such a lengthy incubation time is what makes HIV and AIDS so hazardous. The infection can spread inadvertently because many HIV-positive individuals do not show symptoms for years. Transmission of the virus can occur through unprotected intercourse, needle sharing, and the transfer of bodily fluids from mother to child after birthing, including blood, semen, vaginal fluids, and breast milk. Many people still get infected with the virus, particularly in low-income nations where healthcare is scarce, even though there is a lot of awareness about it and people can get antiretroviral treatments, or ARVs, if they want to. Despite the fact that ARVs can improve health and length of life, they cannot eliminate the disease. Particularly in populations at high risk and in regions where immunizations and preventative rates are poor, the worldwide struggle against HIV and AIDS persists. One of the most dangerous and long-lasting infections that people are still dealing with today is HIV and AIDS, which is already posing a new problem with the rise of drug-resistant forms. Number 4. Zika Virus. Particularly in tropical countries, the Zika virus, which causes birth abnormalities such as microcephaly in infants, remains a major concern. Zika virus infections often cause moderate symptoms in infected adults, but when received during pregnancy, the virus can cause serious problems with a child's development. Because mosquito bites are the main vector of transmission, it can quickly spread in places where mosquito populations are high. Both pregnant women and health officials continue to worry about the virus in 2025, especially in nations where outbreaks are still happening. Number 3. H5N1, or bird flu. One of the most hazardous viral illnesses that can impact both animals and people is H5N1, which is often known as bird flu. Humans are susceptible to contracting this virus if they come into close contact with infected birds, even though the virus mostly affects birds. Poultry farmers and nations reliant on the industry are understandably worried about the virus's rapid spread among birds and its devastating impact on poultry populations during epidemics. The virus is one of the deadliest to humans, with a high death rate of over 60% when infections do occur, despite how rare they are. The fact that H5N1 can change and adapt is what makes it so dangerous. A worldwide pandemic may break out if the virus were to acquire genetic modifications that made it more contagious, according to experts. The rapid global spread of the bird flu virus was on full display during the 2005 pandemic, which killed millions of birds and affected multiple countries. Although there has been a decrease in human occurrences due to vaccination and monitoring, the constant risk of new mutations implies that H5N1 is still a significant viral issue. In preparation for the possibility that the virus may evolve into a more contagious form, researchers are always striving to create better antiviral medications and vaccines. Number 2. Ebola Virus. With occasional outbreaks, mostly in Africa, Ebola remains one of the world's most dreaded viruses. The virus can be transmitted from person to person by direct contact with bodily fluids. Ebola is extremely lethal due to its high mortality rate, which can approach 90% in certain cases. Vaccines are now accessible, but the virus's potential to trigger worldwide epidemics and its lack of access in some countries make it a serious concern. It is especially challenging to contain outbreaks in places where healthcare infrastructure is inadequate. Number 1. Coronavirus. In 2025, COVID-19 is still one of the most dangerous viruses, even though there has been success in fighting it. The virus has been evolving since its 2019 debut, and new variations that elude immunity are constantly appearing as a result of these mutations. Vaccines and therapies have made COVID-19 less severe, but the virus remains a major health concern due to its fast variant, spread, and possible long-term effects. Because it is highly contagious and can travel via the air, this virus is particularly challenging to contain in densely populated places. Because of how rapidly it can change, even nations with extensive preparations can experience spikes in instances that no one saw coming. Thank you for watching. Viruses, as we have seen, are ever-changing and continue to pose a major danger to human health around the world. Protecting oneself and others requires us to be well-informed and ready at all times. Looking forward to seeing you in our upcoming video.